Hi friends, Megan here. And today in this video, I want to go over some tips for beginners, or maybe you have begun yoga, but your teachers or whatever classes you're going to, they're not really getting into this. So I just want to share things that I've learned throughout the years that I wish I had known many years ago, depending on the classes I was going to, or just my own personal life and my perspective on things. I didn't realize this, and so I want to share this because I hear it all the time. For instance, number one, yoga is not a competitive sport. I was very competitive growing up. I was an athlete and kind of couldn't get away from this culture of constantly comparing myself. We have to let that go, and well, you don't have to do anything, but we can let that go in yoga, and we are on our own personal journey. We are connecting the mind, body, and breath. We're finding the present moment and calming the mind as best we can. And it's this constant practice. So I can't even count the number of people that have said like, oh, I'm not good. And it's therefore I'm not coming. Like, oh, I'm not flexible enough. I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And also, all the more reason to come. If you want to be more flexible, I will help you, slowly but surely get there. So can we go into it perhaps with this new perspective of releasing the competition and the good and bad? Okay, of course we want to challenge ourselves to make progress, but meeting ourselves where we're at and then going from there, know that your bodies are different. So bodies can be significantly different too in areas like the hips and the pelvis and different size limbs that we have. So maybe if you were not aware, there are going to be postures that just naturally could be really tricky for you, or even could be where like you're in something and you have a bone hitting a bone and it's just not going any further. Also, no, in that case, hopefully the teacher is offering props. I got blocks now in my car, in my house. Yoga blocks, bolsters, straps. The teacher's offering variations and modifications so that you can find an alignment that is healthy for you, but also do things like bring the earth up to you, or soften your joints. Blankets as well are also really important. Also, please know there are several styles of yoga. So if you've gone to one yoga class and you didn't like it, there are so many more different types. There are different types of teachers. For instance, if you really just need to restore, go to restorative yoga. If you need to flow and you need to move quickly, you can go to something like a vinyasa flow. Depending on the teacher, they'll decide the speed. Certain flows are very structured, like an Ashtanga practice, and then others will be creative sequences that are different. If you want a very, very still practice, try Yin. It took me until I was in my 40s to realize that I needed Yin. And I take back what I said, maybe not want, but need. What do you need? Okay. So I needed Yin to help me to slow down even more than I was and not feel like I had to be doing all the time. Oh, I know what, I'll tell you a little tidbit. I still remember one of my very first yoga classes, which my mom sent me to when I was a kid, and we were like using a ball and moving it around, and I think I found it kind of boring. Because again, I was used to like fast-paced competitive sports. Fast forward to when I tried again later in life, like maybe 20, 22, I don't know. And I was doing it more to get strong and to get flexible. It was very, very physical. So as I've evolved in my own practice and my own personal journey, yoga has evolved, which is the way it works. And so now it is much more of an inner practice. It's more about coming home to myself, self-discovery, self-exploration. And that leads me to probably a tip that I guess is also a myth. It's way beyond the physical. The physical practice, from what I've studied, is one of 8 branches of yoga. You can know you can find what works well for you, whether that's a guided meditation practice, a silent meditation practice, a flow type of yoga, more of you could do chair yoga, you could do a couple movements in the morning, whatever it is. And then, you decide, you create this reality, right? So you decide how much you want to push yourself. With that being said, I want you to know that you're not always going to feel good. Just like in life, there will be these moments where you may be uncomfortable because you're not used to staying still for that long. You're not used to holding a pose for that long. You're not used to focusing on your breath. You might get really irritated. That's okay though. That doesn't mean that you're bad at it. It doesn't mean it's not for you. The essence of it is, can you sit with that? And maybe something will come up in class. Maybe when you finally stop being so busy and are still, or the movement along with the music, along with the ambiance brings up something from the past. That's not bad. This is part of the journey, right? So now, are we sitting with that? And then what are we doing with that afterwards? Something else I think is important is that it doesn't have to be an hour class or a 90-minute class. You can start with you could start with a second. You could start with a breath. You could start with a breath, like one mindful breath where you're not doing anything. You're just breathing, you're feeling your body, your ribs get bigger. You're stopping the walking and the thinking and the to-do list, okay? Start with one breath. Go to 5 minutes, a couple sun salutations, a little bit of movement. Maybe you get to an hour class or a 90-minute class, but it doesn't have to be. You're not cheating if you don't do that, okay? I just recommend finding, compassionate teachers who will answer your questions, and finding community. I think what's really nice about yoga for me is the community that's created. Please, I would love to know if any of those helped, or if I forgot something, or if you have any questions.